Alright, so continue from section 4. This is part 2. So, external respiration. Exchange of gases between air and blood in the lungs. Blood entering the lungs is oxygen poor and carbon dioxide rich. Oxygen moving into the blood. The alveoli always more oxygen so the alveoli always has more oxygen, and oxygen moves by diffusion from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. Carbon dioxide movement out of the blood. Blood returning from tissue has higher concentration of carbon dioxide than air. The alveole. Pulmonary capillary blood gives up carbon dioxide. Blood leaving the lungs is oxygen, and carbon dioxide is poor. So, blood leaving the lungs is oxygen, that's rich, and carbon dioxide, that's poor. So the internal respiration, exchange of gases between blood and body cells, and opposite reaction to what occurs in the lungs. So carbon dioxide differs to blood, oxygen diffuses from blood into tissues. So the gas transport, oxygen transports in the blood, inside red blood cells attached to hemoglobin, oxyhemoglobin, HbO2. A small amount is dissolved in the plasma. Carbon dioxide transports in the blood. Most is transported in the plasma as bicarbonate ion, HCO3. A small amount is carried inside the red blood cells and on hemoglobin, but at different binding sites than those. Alright. And then lastly, the mechanism of breathing. So ventilation is the manner in which air enters and exits the lungs. There are 2 steps: inhalation, flow of air into the lungs; expiration, flow of air out of the lungs. And there is no airflow if the pressure outside of the lungs and inside of the lungs are equal. So inhalation, active phase of ventilation. Diaphragm and intercostal muscles contract. The size of the thoracic cavity increases. Outside pressure must be greater than pressure inside the lungs. External air is pulled into the lungs due to an increase in interpulmonary volume. And then expiration, largely a passive process which depends on natural lung elasticity. Diaphragm and intercostal muscle relax. A muscle relaxed, air is pushed out of the lungs. Outside pressure is less than pressure is the lungs. Forced expiration can occur mostly by contracting internal intercostal muscles to depress the rib cage. Examples: blowing out a candle.